Hello, hello.
Hello,
Oh,
welcome
sorry.
to a long-awaited quarantine-filled episode of The Degenerates.
The Degenerates.
On today's episode, we discuss the PlayStation and its weird controller.
Yeah, we discuss all forms of games, but I guess the biggest thing gaming related that came out was the PlayStation 5 controller
Yeah,
release.
essentially.
But yeah, but you forgot to introduce
Oh,
yourself.
well, I'm the eponymous, the host, The Degenerate. This is my peer, my other
Yeah, yeah.
degenerate, Il Donte. Il Donte, no, I'm
Oh,
joking, you're not Mexican.
oh, El, El Dante. Uh, yeah. I don't know if I call myself a degenerate, but
Hey, you say you're a degenerate, but actually you're the most cultured of them all.
but yeah. So today's episode is brought to you by nothing. We're all stuck inside. Businesses are closing
Our
down.
societies
Uh,
are
tr-
falling apart. People are dying.
Trump wants to open up the economy for some
I mean,
reason,
people
even
do need
though,
work, and they do need to keep the businesses running. So he's right in a way, but it's twisted.
yeah, but at the same time, you can't open work when there's that like bodies piling. You can't have customers if everyone's dead. So
Hey, man, that's what you think.
yeah, and yeah, no, well, I mean, at the same time, there's people who just like don't want to come to work
Okay, see, like,
because
I wouldn't
everything
mind.
going on.
Like, okay, my last job, I loved it to death. Right?
Yeah,
I be legitimately sad because one, I enjoyed my coworkers. It's amazing what happens when you enjoy your job.
yeah, but what like the thing with the if the economy did open up, the thing is like it would be a danger to public health. It's just like at this moment, the fact that we still haven't hit our peak and things haven't even started declining
There's only
slightly
two countries that I'd say
is
killed it for the quarantine, and it's Korea, South Korea. Actually, both Koreas. What am I kidding? They're both killing it. Uh, one's
yeah.
just literally killing people, but that's neither here nor there. And is Singapore actually? Very smart policies. I'll say they're very aggressive with the keeping people tested, keeping them up to date, making sure the numbers are accurate. Unlike a
Yeah.
certain country.
Yeah, but Singapore was really surprising because like they they didn't really have any cases in the beginning, and then they just shot up like crazy, and then it went down. But I'm still a little bit wary of Asian countries because there's one Asian country in particular, not
Oh,
China,
really?
that
I have I don't know. People have been accusing me of
no no
getting
no
on the hate
okay
boner, but
look
dude, China lied. People died.
no it's there's one country I don't know in Japan. It looks like it's not that bad, but it's seen as a really bad like area, and it doesn't seem like people have like stopped doing anything. I think it might be just a part of like people aren't really necessarily have the facilities to work at home.
Dude, Japan, it's
But
either we work or we don't.
yeah, and but their cases aren't going up by that much, even though it's still going up. But it doesn't seem like they're doing too
I
much
think
besides like
I think when it
closing
comes to
schools.
hygiene, Japan typically is more higher than other countries naturally. Even though
Uh
their sex, even though what they find sexually attractive is pretty grimy sometimes.
I don't know. I don't know. I feel okay. I feel like in Japan, when it comes to hygiene, I don't know. I wouldn't say it's above other countries. I wouldn't say it's above other countries
I wouldn't say it's below them.
because I feel like the only thing they really have going for them when it comes to hygiene is probably more of like personal space and also wearing mask more often when you're sick. That's just a common
I
thing.
mean, those
But
make a difference. I'd argue these.
but at the same time, I think there's a difference from Asian personal space and Western personal space. Because you have to understand Japan, especially certain parts of Japan, people need to get super super close together. Like if you're going to work and you have to go on a
You know,
train, you know
uh,
what
when
difference
you say
does?
that, I'm just thinking about all those weird train groping things they have there.
Yeah, and in that sense, like That's not very hygienic. That's like a
Yeah,
breeding ground for the COVID
I'm pretty sure
19.
just groping people in general is not just clean in general.
No. I'm not talking about the groping, but I'm just saying like Japan is very compact, and
It's,
there is a level of personal space that's there, but not the same kind of personal space here. I feel
I was
like
gonna say that's another level of
it's mainly the
dirty.
mask. Yeah. Um. The next thing, but this is not what our podcast is about today. Today is our, I guess, really our first themed podcast. Where we're just basically talking about gaming.
Gamers,
Okay, so let's start it off with
gaming, and games.
the PS5 controller. Now,
Now you came out with a hot take. Realistically, it's not that hot. It's just the
I didn't come out with a hot cake.
not like
Someone
it's
I
a
knew,
joke. The fact that like you know how the fact that you say something that's apparently controversial, but realistically it just makes plain sense.
yeah,
Like some man really come. Just say it. It just baffles my man.
someone I when I saw the controller, what I first thought was, I hope they make the controller not for like, small Asian women, like small Asian girls, like as a joke. Because like I've heard people say that so many times about like the PS3 controller when that was relevant, the PS4 controller, right? And when I said that, someone had a reaction and said the PS4 controller is huge. Now, look.
Who's gonna be like, this is big, bro? He's from big man hands.
If I am Now, when I told my friend this, I told another friend this, like after I told you, and he told me, well, compared to the Switch, the PS4 controller is big when you compare it to the Joy-Cons. But the Joy-Con isn't like the controller people would, it's not the controller that people compare the PS4 to. It's the Pro controller.
It's
If we're comparing the like, look, the reason the Joy-Cons are small is because it's meant for you to pick up and go and play
of
portably.
course. Are you really
Why
gonna
would you think I'm talking about the Joy Cons? Like what?
see? People assume foolishly that oh, we'll bring up something else that has nothing to do with this current circumstance just to prove a point. Like,
No, uh,
but look at
I guess you
Nintendo.
wanted me to like be proven wrong though, because like
That's
it didn't make sense.
that's
Yeah.
he's just being contrarian in that case. It's just like Nintendo's Joy-Con doesn't take away the fact that PlayStation's controller is still technically small and it's not a big controller. Putting the Joy-Con in front of us doesn't make it any less smaller.
No. Now remember, this is a different. Already said that, and he's like, it's probably because it's a Japanese country, and I'm like, Nintendo's Japanese based too, and if not so, you know, didn't you say like last time that Sony moved their main like gaming headquarters to the U.S.?
California.
Yeah, California. So that's not a solid argument. Like the Joy-Con.
They're catering for more a U.S. market right now because the titty games censored on PlayStation. Nintendo though, giving you all that raw glory. You said when Cogret, we got all the bounce.
But yeah, that's
Oh, how the times changed.
but that's kind of what I'm like trying to like get at is like, look, I do not know what you're comparing the PS4 controller to call it huge, because
What
like
world are you comparing it to?
huge is a scale. You have to base this off something else, and it can't be the Pro controller or the Xbox controller because they're both bigger than it by by a big noticeably like margin. Um, yeah, I don't understand why people think that. Um, but yeah, that my
I
like
agree.
how I look at it is that when it comes to the PS5 controller, I hope it is slightly bigger. I still don't think it's going to be as comfortable as the Pro controller or as the Xbox controller because honestly, I think the Pro controller and the Xbox controller are really, really like really close together in comfort, right? Like,
Oh man, the Xbox controller. I've held one, and I was like, Like like the custom ones they make you and they mail
Yeah,
your way, right? Like I held that, I was like, oh, bro, this almost makes an Xbox One
yeah,
worth it.
and I remember I showed you last week where the packaging for the PlayStation controller hasn't changed. They
It
save money
hasn't
not
changed,
only not redesigning the controller, but not redesigning the packaging.
bro. It still looks like '90s packaging, early 2000s '90s
You know,
packaging,
you know what's
late
you know what's
'90s.
also pretty like sad is like look at the special edition controller for Xbox. Look at the special edition controller for the Switch Pro controllers. Look at the special edition controllers for the PlayStation. Two companies change what their boxes look like to symbolize that this is a special edition.
This
The
is some real shit right
PlayStation
here.
keeps that shit the same. So if there was ever anything you needed to like fake it being the actual controller, because there are a lot of people that will bootleg controllers, especially special edition, if they're worth a significant amount of money, such as the Smash
Yeah,
controller, Xenoblade controllers. Those are two Switch Pro controllers that do get faked and sent out. The PlayStation literally doesn't give a fuck. They just give you the same.
fake or not,
Yeah.
it's coming your way.
But yeah, I've always felt like the Sony's like weakest category when it comes to like console gaming is a controller. I can see that they do try, but
And they've been making improvements steadily.
like you can't go 4 years into no 4 generations into making controllers and not adjust it to make it more.
It boggles my mind when people say like the PlayStation 4 has the best controller, or like it's the best controller of all time, and I'm like, the best,
I've never heard anyone say that. Like, look. I
dude.
remember.
Look, I've heard
Yeah,
people say, I like, I heard some stereotypical like comical people say that before, and I'm like, no, don't, no,
I
please
I
stop.
remember back the biggest gripe that I used to hear a lot for the PlayStation controller, and this is something Xbox did because they realized that this is the better thing to do. Nintendo used to do it, and they saw what Xbox did, and were like, "We're gonna copy those guys." It was the
Well,
concave in the joysticks, because remember, um, PlayStation always had a dome. PlayStation 1 to PlayStation 3 were a dome. And that was one reason why people always said they preferred it. It was so like it was such a big difference that people would like there used to be a company, it's still around, called Scump. I don't know if you heard it. Or Scuff. And
no,
they have custom controllers and people would buy like $300 custom PlayStation controllers, and the most one of the most common changes that they would do is get those concave analog sticks, the same ones Xbox had.
I don't know why they always had the fucking domes. They weren't
No,
fun
no,
to
but
click in either on
by
the
the
place.
PlayStation 4, they finally, changed it. And guess what happened
Finally,
when they changed it? Well, 2 months later, there's problems. They had to recall a bunch of controllers because that whatever they put on their or like first shipment weared off after a while. So they finally changed the analog, and they have to recall it.
they botched it too.
So that's why I'm looking at like what happened with Sony so far when it comes to their like controller, and they don't have a good record.
Not the
Yeah,
spottiest of them.
and that's why you look at the Switch, and they're like, what were we gonna do? Well, they took a lot of notes from Xbox, what I believed has the better controller. Like you can talk as much shit as you want to the Xbox, but they always had the better controller, and no one can take that away from them. That's not me like fanboying out
Mm,
because like I don't even own an Xbox One. I own a PS4, but like me looking at the other side, like that's just better. That's like subjectively, I don't even know. Like it's just better.
I mean, the Xbox. I do have an Xbox controller. There are some issues about the triggers, like they do wear off after a while. But that's neither here nor there, right?
No,
I'm trying to think of
I
other
mean like
things.
that's obviously fair because like I remember I remember.
Like I always hated this triggers on the
Yeah, like I was
PlayStation.
gonna say that too. I remember when I used to play Xbox and I would play shooters, and I felt like shooters on the Xbox felt a lot better because of the triggers on the Xbox 360. Now I haven't used an Xbox One controller too extensively. I probably only held one like 2 or 3 times in my life. I barely touched them, but the triggers don't seem too much different from the original Xbox controller, and PlayStation's triggers are okay. But like I said, like I still think the Switch beats the PlayStation in so many areas.
The only thing I have a problem with the Switch is
No,
Joy-Con
no, I'm talking about the
drift.
Joy-Con. I'm talking like plainly the Pro
Oh,
controller. Yeah,
The
I'm
Pro.
not talking about the consoles themselves.
I
I'm just
have
talking
not.
about the controllers.
Okay, that's fair. I have not touched the Switch Pro, but I think I kind of you kind of want me. I kind of want to grab one
Okay,
now.
so the benefits. So I'll talk about the benefits in the Pro controller versus the PlayStation controller quickly.
Well, here's a question about the design. Aesthetically, it looks like and actually it looks like a step away from like the usual design from PlayStation.
Yeah, no, no, you could say that about the PS5. But what I was gonna say with the Pro controller from Nintendo versus like PlayStation, the buttons are bigger. Um, which is funny because like you're
Uh-huh.
looking at Nintendo and you're like, oh, it's gonna be for kids, but like buttons are bigger, triggers, they're passable. They're not the best triggers, but they're not the worst triggers. They're like middle of the road, but they feel like well ergonomic. But the feeling of the controller ergonomically is just like a full tier above. The analogs feel better.
Uh-huh.
The D-pad feels a lot better, and I don't know. I'm more of a fan of having the right stick at the bottom and the left stick at the top. I understand that might be a personal thing, but I just feel like even if I play my PlayStation for a long time, it just feels better on the Pro controller or how they do it on Xbox and the thing. And one thing I would say is that this layout where they have the right at the bottom and the left at the top is something to do for every single mock controller that's out there. The only company that does them both at the bottom,
Sony.
yes, and the Google Box or Google Stella.
All right, no one cares about the
Yeah.
whatever the Google
So
flop
the only controller that PlayStation can look at and says, "Hey, they copied our format," fucking died.
and the Steam one too.
The Steam one copied them. The Steam one had like no. The Steam
Yep.
one was like wild. The Steam one had like two
It was
circles.
wild, but it still
Like
had like the two circles were at the bottom and they weren't like spaced separately.
and the two circles were at the top.
That's
I'm
my
looking at
point.
it now.
But they were like they weren't diagonal. Is my gripe
Yeah.
because is what I'm trying to basically essentially say. They weren't like this is the one time where asymmetry is
Nah,
actually
the Steam
useful.
controller looks like a really shitty controller.
Oh god, it looks like a mix of like an Xbox controller and like in all the worst
Yeah.
ways. And like
Okay.
Nintendo ones too. What is that
There's only one.
joystick?
There's only one
Ew.
gripe I have with the
Ew.
Nintendo Pro controller, or with Nintendo. I know it's not them, but like, look, every single game in the world, every single controller has A and X or that select button at the bottom. But for some reason, you have it at
Mm-hmm.
the at the top. No, dude, like
That's
I
funny.
don't understand why.
Well, for why?
Now,
That's
sometimes
you're
I'll
not gonna
play
get an
the same
answer. For
game
how?
on the Switch, and I played the game before on another console, and you can't your brain takes a while because they're like, oh yeah, this is how I do it, this is how I do it, because they just they want to have their own like format, but that's enough shitting on the old PlayStation controllers. yes, the PlayStation controller. If you are someone out there who believes that the PlayStation 4 controller is huge, you honestly might have the smallest hands in, I don't know.
Yo, like who like I know complained about this extensively before, but who's looking at the PlayStation 4 controller? Any Sony controller would be like, that's a big ass
I don't know
controller.
how.
Like I grappled with the Xbox original. That thing is a
Yeah,
monster.
like look, it's in terms of like a gaming controller, the PS4 controller is like a 6. It's not like 6 isn't bad. The 6 is good. The 6
Six
is
is
good.
not bad, but you know, when you're used
But
to like sevens and eights, you're like, ooh.
I honestly believe that the Xbox lineup is easily a 9, 9.5, and it only goes up from there. I think the Switch Pro controller is a solid 8, but the
Mm-hmm.
PS4 controller is a 6. Now, I hope the changes that they do make to the new controller for the PS5 is bigger. And when I say bigger, I mean comparably to size to the Pro controller and the Xbox controller. Even like
Yeah.
even if I'm looking at the controller and I'm imagine it being the same size as the PS4 controller, right? It's still doable, right? But it better have a better like feel in my hand, right? Because like it doesn't matter, like the size doesn't matter that much because you can do a lot with the size as long as you have a good layout. But you know immediately as soon as you pick it up if this is a good controller or a bad controller, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
Like you know, I'm picking up my PS4 controller right now, and I'm fine with it. Like a lot of my favorite games are on the PlayStation controller, but like when I pick up the Pro controller, it just feels a lot better, like noticeably better. Like my hand just easily just like I don't know. I can't.
It
Yeah,
just
like it
curves
just
around
feels
it, eh?
like as soon as I pick up the PlayStation controller, there feels like there's work I need to do. It feels like it doesn't place me
Is wor-
where it like it feels like it doesn't place me where I want my hand to be when I play. And a lot of that comes from ergonomics. But as soon as I pick up the PlayStation or the Switch controller, the feel is like magnitudes better. Yeah, it's instant,
instant.
right? And let me explain
You
why.
slip
Like
into it.
on my left hand, my fan goes around it, it feels good, and instantly my thumb is on the trigger, not on the trigger, on the analog stick. But when I hold the PlayStation controller, there's nothing there that catches your thumb. You know, it's just a weird posture, and when you have to bring your thumb out to, I don't know, it's just not as good. I'm sorry. But yeah, how do you feel about the PS5 controller?
I think design wise, it's interesting. Like it nothing. I look at it like it's different, but nothing about it particularly grabs me. Maybe like the cursor and like the button in the middle where it looks a bit. How do you say it? Peculiar. Like it's just a
Let me
logo,
pull
and
it
I'm
up
just
real
like,
quick. My
okay.
only thing, yeah, that was my biggest thing. I hope they change that logo. I do not think like any company out there do not make a logo a button. That's not good. Make buttons buttons. Make them circle. It's a formula that works.
Okay, now looking closer at the Switch controller, it's nothing inspired design wise, but it
Yeah,
still
no,
looks
the
like
the
it's
Pro
reliable.
controller, and I'm just saying this like it does take a lot of inspiration from the Xbox controller, like how they always done it. What
Well, I mean, it reminds you of
the
what did the
Wii
Wii
U
U controller look
controller
like?
was a little bit more sharper edged, slightly.
Yeah, I mean, it looks more plasticky. I like how this one's a
But the
little bit
reason
more
I'm
matte
the reason
looking.
I'm saying it why it's more inspired by it is that I feel like any company that takes
Oh,
that uses that layout that Xbox has been using, I usually just say it's Xbox inspired, right? It has a similar feel to an Xbox 360 controller. It has the same layout as an Xbox 360 controller. The one thing that it has different is that the middle part of the controller that extends to the legs is a little bit more wider. There's actually more of
I'll say one thing: the Pro controllers, since like there's been an evolution, and I'd say the
no, no,
current one
no.
is
It
probably
is.
the best one
I don't
design
feel like
wise.
any company has actually regressed except for Nintendo from the Super Nintendo controller to the N64. Other than that, no company has ever regressed.
I blame the Virtual Boy for that, man. Something
Uh,
went wrong in the middle. That thing's iconic, but don't mean it's good. Like the Power Glove is iconic, but it's not a
yeah,
good iconic. You're like, no one's look at the Power Glove and be like, yeah, that's my wave.
yeah. So
That's what
looking
I'm
at
about.
the PlayStation controller right now, so
Yeah, imagine if some dude just
so
like
some
choked
things
you out
that
with
I
a
have
fucking Power
noticed looking at
Glove.
it. The one thing I said I don't like, and I really, really hope they change it. If not, I will buy a custom controller that does it. Because okay, look, do not make buttons clear.
Oh my gosh.
Like they're gonna scratch
let me let me see.
unless you can afford sapphire buttons. They're gonna scratch, and that mark's gonna stay there, and it's not gonna look good. Because you want to know why?
Oh, they are
No.
clear.
They're
Ew,
clear,
I
and that's
thought
what I
they were
said.
just plain
Look,
white,
someone's
not
gonna
clear.
drop their controller, and it's gonna scratch, and they're gonna see it every time, especially if you buy the white version.
I think it's gonna crack, man. It's
No. It's
gonna
not gonna
like
crack.
crack.
I know it's not gonna crack, but it's gonna get scratched. I know it's gonna get scratched, and this
It's it's a little bit thicker around the edges, but not in the
yeah,
middle.
and that's
I
what I'm
don't know
kind
how
of
you feel
saying.
about
Is
that.
like I hope that they come out later on and have something that's not clear. Like I know you want to go for that futuristic look, but a like clear buttons are not the
The
way, right?
triggers are still the
Um,
same.
wait, on the Xbox One, are the buttons clear? They might be, right? They're not.
No, uh, not exactly. I don't know.
All right, I'm
Ha-
looking at one
they're
right
not
now.
clear,
Yeah,
right?
they're clear too.
I don't know. I mean, was it? Is it? I I don't know, but they're different. They're not like the same kind of clear the
Yeah, it has
PlayStation one
like a
has going on.
little because the buttons
Uh,
kind of rise up.
they rise up. But it's different. It's more plastically,
Yeah,
not the type that can
that's the
like
one
get
thing I don't
scratched
want.
easily.
Like, I do not want a controller that you can scratch it and then it has like that blemish that you look at for like forever. Because like,
Oh god, the Elite Series Xbox One controllers, like,
yeah, no, they're like
fuck. Oh man,
180.
they're expensive.
Um, no,
Oh,
but I told you
they
it's
hurts
because
to
they
buy
want
one
to
of
compete
those.
with Scuff. Because Scuff is they do custom controllers similar to the Xbox Pro Elite controller, and they were like they ran PS3 and Xbox 360 all throughout till now. They're still really relevant. Um, and their controllers are
Remember
$300.
Mad
So
Cats?
they're Xbox saying you can get it from us, a little bit different, more from a home company. Yeah, but Mad Catz ran out of business. Like I had a Mad Catz Xbox controller, like original Xbox controller. I had a Mad Cat Xbox 360 controller too. Um, I kind of miss Mad Catz. They made decent fighting sticks.
They had some wacky controllers. You know, I remember my
Yeah,
GameCube one had a
no
turbo
one
on
uses
it.
turbo.
I
They
never
also
used
put
it once.
Rock Band also put them out of business. No, because they
Rock
made
Band did it. Rock
the.
Band.
So what happened was they were doing bad, but then Rock Band was gonna like give them a chance to come back, so they made the instruments for Rock Band. But Rock Band just didn't sell because no one cares about playing rock like Guitar Hero and Rock Band anymore. And yeah, it just failed.
They were a fad, and when some people say, "Oh man, remember Rock Band?" I'm like,
Yeah, but
not really. I know some people say, "Oh man, Rock Band, that was my jam," and I'm
now one thing I have
like,
seen just looking at the new controller, you guys, the PlayStation. analog sticks seem to be more protruded out versus the PlayStation 4, which is more flushed. Um,
The triggers don't impress me.
they're
Still the
more.
same
They're
thing,
actually
is what I'm
out the
seeing.
system more.
But do they still have that like unsatisfying click to like
The
they
PS4.
like the
Wait, your
Xbox like
PlayStation 4 controller has a click
it
to it?
works better. No, not click, but it doesn't have like a satisfying feeling to it. Like the Xbox controller, like
Yeah.
you click the triggers in the bumpers, like they click, right? It doesn't click for
Uh,
PlayStation, right?
not for the bottom ones. Like, okay, here's a sound test,
Yeah,
and
I
then
have
here's
one right
the
over there
Pro
near me, but
controller.
I'm not gonna reach for it because I don't want to ruin the audio a little bit,
Yeah,
but it's not a bad controller. Like
I said
could
it's a
you call it a
six. I just
seven?
called it a
Did you say it's a
six.
6 or a 7? I think.
Wait. Oh,
What
you're
about the
talking about
PS4?
the five? I can't rate it. I don't
Five,
have
the
it in
five, the
hand.
five.
Like I can't give it the eye test. I can't give.
It looks like a step forward in some ways and some
Okay.
steps backwards. I can't say for sure. Like, of course, like I'm not. I know the console was a dead and broken subject, but like
Okay.
I know Sony fanboys still keep on going and they still keep on being like,
Here is
bro.
what I will say about the PS5 controller in terms of the look. In terms of feel, I can already tell it's going to feel better. And the reason why I know it's going to feel better, look at the bottom groove. The analogs don't protrude out as a controller anymore as it does on the PS4. That's a big deal. Secondly,
Mm-hmm.
the edges aren't rounded, they're flat. And the reason is that it feels more comfortable to hold it that way. The inside, right? So when you look
Yeah.
at just
Okay.
the inside of the controller, right, which is where majority of your hands are going to be laying at. Well, when
Where
it's
they're
underneath your when
caressing
you're
the
holding it
buttons.
underneath, it's you can look at it and you can tell it's going to feel better. I know it's going to feel better. So yeah, because
It feels more natural than the art. like, like I don't know what's with the weird obsession with these. Like,
look.
this
I'm
it's
telling you right now.
you know it's it sticks out. It sticks out. It's like a doohickey.
What
It
I'm
just
saying
sticks
is
out.
this,
It's just
right?
not a natural part of
This
the scenery.
controller,
It doesn't feel like a consistent, coherent shape like the PlayStation controllers. There's
yeah.
always something
What I'm
breaking off,
basically
and it's
saying
not
is this
smoothly
controller
transitioning into
has the
something, right?
potential to be a 9 or an 8. I think okay, it's not a game changer,
It's a real
but
game
I can
changer. How
already
big is it
tell by
though?
looking at it, it's better than the PS4 controller, right? No, for
You can
sure.
say it's their best controller yet,
The
potentially,
reason I'm saying
or
for
for sure.
sure is that like look at that
Okay, for sure.
design. Want to know why it's nice? Because it doesn't look like it's
I'm
made out
looking.
of like 50 different parts. It looks simple, and you know what feels good in your hand? Simple. Complex doesn't feel good in your hand.
I I like it's more consistent now, and it's not. PlayStation
Yeah,
always had this weird thing where the buttons and these things were like it's like a flat island,
yeah,
right? It's like an island. It's just the
yeah,
middle of
and
the
that's what
scene.
I'm saying. It's like the
It doesn't
PlayStation looks like you
transition
could
well.
take it apart and like the buttons are always in these circles, and then the analogs look like legs, and then I don't know why. It's just not good. It's just not designed good. It better
At
not be the
least
same.
is the box the
But
same though? That's the $1 million
I
question.
will only I will
If
only
it's the
no, dude.
same, bro, I'm gonna take a
Look, I
photo.
I
I'm
am
gonna send it
pre-ordering
to
that
you.
system. I am putting money
You want to
aside.
make a bet?
I already have money aside. Like,
You
look,
want to
look,
make
look,
a
look.
bet the box is the
Here's the
same
thing.
for the controllers? You gonna make a bet? I will bet you. I will
Deal,
bet you a
deal, deal.
beer that it's the same box.
No, let's do a better bet. Sake.
Okay.
Any sake, because I'm gonna use it for cooking.
Oh wait, what
I
bottle?
don't
What
drink
bottle are we
sake like
talking?
that. I just cook with it.
Okay, all right, deal.
I mean,
Okay,
I
that's
still have the
fair.
bottle
Hey
from
man, good
Japan.
sake still makes a difference when you're cooking it up.
Yeah, I need more, but it's expensive here. But yeah,
I still have mine too.
looking at this controller, it is
Oh
an
yeah,
improvement.
dude, Japanese whiskey is
If
expensive
they
here.
make the like, look, I'm gonna say this. If they make this controller the same size as the
A
Switch
marketable one.
controller, it will be just under the Pro controller. And the reason I'm saying it's just under is because it still has a logo as a button.
Oh,
To me,
I think my problem
I
is the
think the
bumpers. To
triggers
be
are
honest,
fine.
at this point,
How I'm looking
I
at
mean
it,
not the
at
bumpers, the
least how I
triggers.
imagine it, my only thing with the triggers is that they're really rounded. They seem really round versus other triggers where the top one is flat and it kind of angles to your finger. These ones kind of seem like they just come out. That's my only thing, and that's why I would not put it above the
Yeah,
Switch. Um, yeah, like you need to make sure
that's
your triggers
one
are
area
angled. Yeah.
I'd say. I feel like Xbox. I feel like the Xbox literally has to do
No,
nothing
that's what
for
they
the
did.
same
They
for the controller.
basically,
Just
so you know
make the
the
same
D-pad
controller
from
and
the
just
Pro
pump it out
controller.
again, and they'll be fine.
They basically just put it on the normal Xbox One controller, and
Yeah.
that's it. It's a minor improvement, but it's already a controller that I consider a 9.5. Right? The reason, as a right, okay. The only
it's
reason why I can't give Xbox a
they
10
won the
is that
they got the controller
unfortunately
game
there are
on
people
lock.
who have custom controllers and have made better controllers, but these controllers cost more money, and the reason they're better is that they have buttons underneath, and these buttons underneath are actually usable. So in that case, I do give it to those other controllers, but as a commercial product, the Xbox is a 10 out of 10. And I have to grade everything down from that. I give the Pro controller an 8. I give the PlayStation 4 no, I give the Pro controller an 8 and I give the PlayStation 4 controller a 6. This controller looks like it has the potential to be an 8 as well. It does not look like it's better, right? Like if this controller comes out, I might have to bump
Mhm.
I might have to give it like a 7.5. But that's still a point and a half more than the PlayStation controller, which is good. Um, the only I guess one thing why is still the analog placement. I understand Sony will never change that because it's like their thing, but it's also not preferred. I don't think anyone prefers this over how other companies do it because I don't believe anyone who says that. The
There are
other thing
people
is the
who will say they
D-pad,
prefer it, but I don't
connected
know how
D-pads.
serious they are
People
about it.
like a connected D-pad. I already explained the problem with having a D-pad that are separate buttons versus being one unified button.
They're never
Yeah,
gonna connect
and
those
that's what
D
I mean
pads.
is like
That split up D
it can
that
never
split up D pad is their
that's why it's
trademark.
stuck at a 7.5 is that it has issues with it's not that it has issues, but it has features of the controller that is a part of their brand that hold it back. Um, I was gonna say the only way to let them keep the same packaging of the
Hmm.
controller is if they make the packaging with a limited edition PlayStation One controller, like the one I just posted. If they do that, then I won't mind. But please, for the love of God, change the middle button. No, like look at Steam. Their logo is a button, but at least it's round. Like it's not a good idea. It's not a good idea.
Yeah, I see your point there.
It's still ass, but they understand
Okay,
that
the
they
Steam
shouldn't make the
controller,
Steam logo its own
Steam
button.
controller still ass.
Yeah.
It's gonna be awkward because you're
No, that's
just
the thing I'm
gonna
saying.
slightly
There is
miss it
no
one time. You just
reason
like nip it a
to
little bit.
make a
Your nail's
button
just gonna
like that.
scrape it.
Buttons should stay as buttons. Yeah.
See,
And that's
The
okay.
Xbox is the logo. The
Yeah,
button is the logo
look, the PlayStation 4 has a better
because
home
because it's
button.
just a circle.
Nintendo literally just have plus minus.
Nintendo's not just gonna have an end that you just press in the middle.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It works. It's basically start and select.
dude. It works.
and taking pictures.
Plus, minus, home. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is like the
Oh
PlayStation
yeah,
4
I
already
don't
has
care
a
for the
better
screen caps
feature
too
than a
much.
controller that you're planning to release. That's not a good thing. I know it's not going to change by the time it gets here, but I really want to know who on the design team thought that was a good idea. But again, like I said, um, the design I think is fine, but I can tell it's going to feel a lot better. Actually, I don't know. I need to see what it looks like underneath. There's no images of what it looks like underneath, but yeah, like okay, yo, look at this image. Three of these, like the first three controllers, are the same controller. Crescent controller.
No, you forgot the infamous
The
Crescent
PlayStation?
controller. Remember the
Oh,
boomerang?
but wait, look at the image I posted to you.
Yeah, the boomerang mod.
It's the same controller. The only difference between the PlayStation 1 and the PS3 is that they have a, a PlayStation button. No, dude, from PlayStation 1
we
to
added a
PlayStation
button
2,
or
they
two.
added
We
one
had
button.
some
From
buttons and we took
PlayStation
away
2
some
to
wires.
PlayStation 3, they made it wireless. Those are the differences. Their edit like catalog is two things between three generations.
It's a
It only
revolutionary
takes two things
console.
with the controller.
It's a
Now, what did the
revolutionary
PlayStation 3
console.
do from the PS4? Well, they made it have a touchscreen that no one uses. They gave it a capture button that no one uses. They made it a little bit bigger. They gave it a little bit more weight, and it's a little bit, it does have a more premium feel than the PS3 controller because the PS3 controller felt like it was just plastic and paper in the middle. Now compared to the Pro controller, well, the Pro controller has
It
HD rumble
basically was.
that actually feels good. No, so some games you can
H
like if there's
HD
like
Rumble.
balls in the
What's the
controller, you can
difference?
actually
It's
like
Rumble's
feel it
Rumble.
like rolling around. You never tried HD rumble before? No, it's on the Joy-Cons too. The Joy-Cons HD rumble too.
No, I've been living like a peasant. Maybe I just don't
Yeah, the
notice.
rumble
Nah,
pack.
man. You know what's
No,
the
like
the
when the
best
Pro
Rumble
controller
was?
came out, they hired like this
The
big
Rumble pack.
company to do it, and if they were to like simulate like balls ruffling around in the Joy Cons, you can guess accurately how many balls are rolling around, and they can edit and change it, right? And they change it through tilt and stuff, right? For some
Okay.
reason, Nintendo decided to put millions in dollars on just a Rumble feature, and Sony couldn't even give a fuck to change their design. They bought a like it blows my mind. They bought a whole company for
Oh my
Rumble.
god. Somebody's like, so I don't know if this is Chad or I don't know if this is like I don't know if this is Chad or like this is just them being fucking
No, but that's
lazy.
the thing. They literally
I
bought a whole
can't tell. That's
company
the problem.
just
Like I
to
don't know if
add
they're Chads or they're just lazy
advanced
bums.
Rumble onto the controller. That 90% of the games, like, look, if you compare, like, I'm being honest. Look at Nintendo's catalog of top
Right.
selling games, and how many of them use HD Rumble? Maybe Mario Party. That's it. Yeah, but that's probably the only game that sold them a lot of
Yo,
money,
Mario Party
that
sucks
made them a
these
lot of
days. What do you
money.
mean?
That is that uses HD Rumble because HD Rumble is a feature on their Pro controllers and on their Joy Cons, right? Um, that's crazy to me that they bought a whole company just for that. But yeah, but Sony couldn't even give a fuck to add anything to the controllers for four
Nintendo
generations.
wows out, man.
I don't know, right?
I
What else does
I
the Pro
don't get
controller
it,
have?
man.
Well, it has
What
they have
happened?
support for amiibos, which I know not everyone uses amiibos. I don't really use amiibos, but I can already tell from like that already. They could have easily just sold us something separate or just kept it to only on the Joy Cons, but no, they added that to it. Um, the battery life. on the Pro controller is actually better than on the PS4. I don't know how the battery life is on the Xbox One. The Pro controller lasts
I don't
about
have
40
rechargeables.
hours of
I just have like
continuous
regular Duracells.
like
I live like a
gameplay
peasant.
through one charge. The PlayStation, I think, is a roughly 17
What?
to 20 hours.
Holy moly,
It's basically double. It's basically double. Wait, what?
dude! I feel like I feel like the battery to create on the PlayStation is real
Yeah,
fast
yeah,
though.
that's what I feel too. Because I feel
The
like
battery to, the
if
bat
I charge it
the
one day,
battery
by the
decay on the
next day I need
PlayStation
to
is real
charge it.
fast though.
And but I feel like for the Pro controller, I could play. Okay, I'll say
Again,
this: from when Animal Crossing came out to now, I've only had to charge my controller twice. Yeah, twice, and that's from me playing Animal Crossing like all the time and just leaving my game on.
what?
I have one more thing, but yeah, most of my stuff I was doing.
Have you finished school yet?
Yeah, that's yeah. I even asked
Okay,
another
I was
friend, and
gonna,
he said he's like done. But some of
dude,
my
bro.
friends have
I
so much
have
work, so I
so
guess
much to
yeah.
do. It's quite a bit.
Um, but yeah, no, like
Oh no, we're swamped
even
in a lot of ways.
even when I did have like even when Animal Crossing was out, I would still do like obviously my work I need to do. But what I'm saying is this controller has a lot going for it. Now, the one thing I guess is a good thing on the the PS4 controller that seems to not be a feature on the PlayStation controller is that giant light that indicates like which player you are. So you know how on the back of the PS4 controllers is the big bright light? That seems to be missing from the PS5 controller.
Universe. Yeah, they're like different light.
That's what I'm guessing.
I don't know if
But
it's
the
missing
thing
or if
is,
that thin outline is actually the light
they already
itself.
had that light at the top because um the touchpad glows
I
too.
do not know.
There's a thin LED light at the top of the touchpad. You know, that's actually
Yeah,
one
but
thing
like,
that if Sony does
no,
want to
the
be,
touchpad don't do
you know,
nothing.
want to add to the controller if it has a really good battery life because if they keep it to what the like you when you played your Xbox, how often do you have to charge it? Year one. Year one. Oh, okay, okay. Um,
The 360 or like my one? Because my one I don't have a rechargeable. Oh, I
really?
don't have a rechargeable.
Wait, doesn't come
Because
wireless?
like the battery pack for it is like, I swear it's over 100, bro. It's
You have to put
no, I
you
mean
have to
it is wireless, but like
you
you
have to
gotta do
put
it with
batteries in
Duracells.
your
We rest on
damn.
we gotta put Duracells. Yeah, you gotta put batteries in there.
I didn't know they
Like
did
it's a
you like
nice
that.
controller, but the battery problem is just the one thing about it I hate. I don't know. Was it the version I bought, or is it just maybe I got
What?
gypped because like I don't know. I bought Fallout 4 edition of the Expo, and so and mind you, I don't play Fallout 4 anymore, so that should say to you how effectively I've
Yeah.
utilized this. Now, granted, the Master Chef collection's been keeping me company because I like Halo a lot, but
I
like
okay.
overall,
You know what?
there's days I look at the Xbox One and I regret buying the damn thing.
If that's true,
There's
then
days where I look
the
at that thing and I'm
Switch
like,
just got
like
bumped
I
up to a
almost want to
nine.
cry. Like,
If you have
man,
to put fucking batteries in it. Let me
see,
check.
I don't know if that's the base version or not. Because if it's rechargeable, technically, the Xbox would be on top. I don't know. I just have one of those dumb battery. The original Xbox had that too. You had to put
Yeah,
batteries in
they have their wireless
because
controllers.
the rechargeable you
I
got to buy
think you just had
separately.
an old generation. Wait, now I see a back
I
where
got
you can
gypped,
take
man.
off the
See, like
back
I'm
and
the type
take
of
it
guy who
off.
always take.
Wait, does your back look like this? Wait,
Yeah,
actually.
I don't know, man. I'll just say one thing: when it comes to most things, I take the L. But overall, I think we've pretty clearly summed up your feelings. I want to roast that one small hands man one more time. Like,
I don't know.
how you guys? Did this man think he was not going to get clapped back for that? What world did he live in? You know, some people live. Some people live in bubbles. A lot of people live in bubbles. I live
No,
in
I
a
was just
bubble.
gonna
I don't know
finish
about
with
you, but you
saying,
probably need to live in some kind of bubble for
the
some
other
specific thing.
Xbox
Probably
controllers
a
seem to
minute
be
thing, right?
wireless. Yeah, I don't know why you got to, but you have to put batteries.
No, like my controller's wireless. Make no mistake, right? Yeah, there is a rechargeable version. It exists. I know it does. I've seen them. I just don't have one, and I'm too much of a broke man to go buy some. So I'm just gonna be like, all right, Home Depot, give me my Duracell. Give me my rabbit with the band with the drums. Give me that, right?
Yeah,
You know batteries. You know what batteries I found are really good?
but yeah. Now I was gonna
IKEA
say for you,
batteries.
yeah. They do. That's how they have it.
They got some
The
good batteries,
Xbox
bro.
One
That's all I'm
controllers
gonna
now
say.
are
Uh,
wireless. That's like wireless, like no batteries needed. Yep, you got cucked.
bro, I got CUCC. Duh.
So you don't get the
I got
big
cucked.
cuck.
That's all I gotta say. See, I hope for most of my life I get cucked with all these small things. That's fine. I don't get the big cuck. You know what I mean? You know, I hope most of my life I just continue on as like your Joe Schmo, but all of a sudden, like, oh man, Jesse, I love that guy. Great guy, fantastic guy. Most of the time, it's like, oh shit, it's Jesse.
Oh no.
Oh no, hide your
But
kids, hide your
yeah.
wives, hide the husband. Oh no. I think that's about it. If anyone says the PlayStation controller is big again, I'm gonna smack them because I'll be like, I'm gonna hold their hands and be like, are my hands the hands of a giant? Because this controller is fucking tiny, bro. I don't know how you can come up and say, so big controller. You know what a big controller is? The
uh,
N64 controller. The original Xbox controller. You see that thing? That thing's the size of a continent. That button, right? That button, you know, like the middle, that Xbox
Actually,
thing in the middle that
one
did
thing I did want
nothing,
to talk
just to remind you
about
it's an
that
Xbox controller. That thing's bigger
I
than the
have been
average
seeing
like
a little
button
bit.
layout for like a PlayStation.
You know about the new Final Fantasy VII remake, right? It looks really great.
I
So
mean, it looks good.
I've been
Uh,
seeing a lot of
we
people
got
who
wives.
have
Ooh,
been.
Cloud's a lucky man.
I've seen some things in some places where people are getting a little bit aggressive to people who want to wait to play it, right? Because you know when because they're like, this game's amazing, I want to play it. And there's been people who are like, you know what?
What's wrong with waiting?
I don't. I There's a lot of people who say like they don't want to get too hyped about a game right now. They want to like finish what they're doing and then give the game the time it deserves rather than just knock off everything they do. And some people are like, no, the game's worth it. And some people are like, well, I understand that the game's going to be into parts because there's going to be three parts of the game, and I'd rather wait 5 years to play a bundle. I've already waited this long for a game that's already like X amount years old, right? But there seems to be this very aggressive, huh? I've been seeing a lot of people
Is it?
these people who don't want to buy the game, and
Is
there's
this
been
is
this
an
camp
issue?
of people who've been like, buy it, you need to buy it, it's worth it, buy the game, even though people are like, you know what, I want to give the game the attention I want later, or yeah. And how I feel is like this, right? I want to get the game in May around my birthday, play it, right?
Leave the mans alone. Let
But
them
I
do
still
their thing.
understand the fact that I'm not playing the full game. That the full game doesn't come out till they release the other parts. The game kind of just ends. And I don't know how it's going to deal with like save files. Like I don't know if you're going to get your save files later, but the game's only around 40 hours. It's a meaty game, but like okay,
I mean,
I'll be
it's a
honest.
meaty
40
game
hours
apparently. I mean,
for an
technically,
RPG is quite short. It's
these
really short.
it's just
Ratchet
Midgar.
and Clank has a longer story.
It's pretty weak.
Yeah.
It's pretty weak.
Yeah.
I mean, despite how tight it could be, I still feel like that's pretty short for a role playing game.
Yeah. No, definitely. It's not the same
I
turn
mean,
based
it's
game. It's
Final
more
Fantasy
live
VII is the
action, and there's
status.
yeah.
It's a whole different game. It's not the same game, right?
They've
Midgard,
added stuff. Yeah, they added a lot of
like
content to the game.
they padded it out. I don't know if padded out is the right word, but it's different. The original
Wait.
Midgard.
You
I don't
cut
know
off
how I
there.
don't remember how long it took. It took a decent amount of time. Like it was like a good portion of the game, right?
Yo, Jesse.
Not like an exceptionally long portion, but it was a memorably long portion. Oh, what? Yo, hello? Can you hear me? Hey, how about now? Hello?
Hello. Yeah. Yes, up, man.
How about now?
You there?
Hello?
You sound
Okay,
very
how about
quiet.
now? Okay, that was good.
Yeah.
That's gonna be annoying to edit out. Okay, so back on
Okay, yeah, you
topic.
sound fine
So
now.
Final Fantasy VII. I do? How about now? Try raising my volume. Okay, that's better. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be a bitch to edit out. Fuck, man. It was
Um.
so perfect. All
Yeah.
right.
How I
So
look
let's
at it
go.
is that
Moving back
when
on
they released
topic.
the game and they released the trailer, everyone was
So
really like
Final
hyped for it.
Fantasy VII.
Now, I think 2 months or 3 months after they said it was coming out, they also said that the game was going to be released in 3 parts, which people knew about like 4 or 5 years ago when they said they were making it, right? Now, a lot of people had problems with it. I also had problems with it. The reason I had problems with it is that the
Yeah,
reason
everyone
why
knew
it
this was
was
clear.
4 parts, or the reason it was 3 parts in a PlayStation when it came out for the PlayStation 1 was because the PlayStation 1 couldn't handle that data, and it was quite common for games to have more than one disc. Final Fantasy 7 had 3 discs, so that's why it. No, it's three. It was only three.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was only three. That's why they're separating it into 3 parts to match the 3 parts
No, I think I
surroundings.
had 4 discs. I swore it was 4.
And that's when I'm like, well, if that's the case, why?
Dude, disc 2 is gonna be fucking big.
I don't see why they would do something like that for now when we're into the future. This can hold more memory. And even then, games like what's that one game? I think it's Dead in Space or something. Yeah, Dead Space. That game was big. That game was really big. So big that it also had 3 discs
Oh,
on
Dead
a
Space?
PS3 game.
Dead in Space.
Or PS4. No, no, no.
Dude, I swore Dead Space had only like 1 disc.
Okay, yeah. So it.
Are you thinking of
Yeah,
the
no,
same
no. It
game?
wasn't
Like
Dead
Dead
Space
Space,
one. It's Dead
Necromorphs,
Space 2 or
Isaac,
3. But yeah, Dead Space 2 had.
Marker,
It was a 2 disc game.
shooting off limbs?
Yeah. Yeah. No, two and three. Both two
Yeah,
and
Dead
three
Space 2 is
had
significantly
multiple
more
discs.
bigger in a lot of ways. I didn't play it. I played 1.
But
What?
Dead Space 2 is
3 was
really,
weak
really good.
apparently. I've heard. 1 is
Yeah, I
great.
would say
1's a
so.
great game. I don't know how 2 is in comparison.
But what I mean is, Dead Space 2
Better than 1?
and Dead Space 3 both had
Shit, I
multiple
gotta play it
discs.
now.
Now, why I don't see why they wouldn't be able to do that on the PS4. Now, understand that they put a lot of more stuff into the game, but people kind of look at it like, why would I have to spend that money now when I know that when all the games are out, you're just going to release it into a bundle? This bundle, and Yeah, and no, and the fact that it's also a Final Fantasy game means it's going to sell a lot of copies. And what happens when games sell a lot of
Logically, yes.
copies?
Dude,
Well,
it's
their
Final Fantasy VII.
bundles
They're
don't
not
sell
not
for
going to
that
release the
much,
whole
or even
thing.
the old versions of the game. And these games generally go down for like $20 really quickly. Like Final Fantasy, what was it? Final Fantasy 15. After like, after yeah, like Final Fantasy 15 when it came out, like after a year, you could find it at Christmas for like $30.
15.
Yeah, yeah, on Steam, and they added like a bunch of DLC and stuff. But
But
what?
then they released the re-release version for Windows,
Oh, you really? You really?
and then they canceled some. I'm not bitter. I'm not bitter.
But what I mean is that I
I'm
do
not
think it's
bitter.
really bad that a
It's
game
not
that
like the
already has
best
an
girl got
an
our
established
DLC tonight. I'm
story,
not mad
yes, they
about
added
that.
some stuff to the game. But I don't know why they would make it into three parts. Like it's I don't know because the thing is everyone who bought the first game is not going to buy the second game, and then after they buy the second game, they're gonna, the same. There's gonna be a drop off of people buying the third game, but the big problem to that is that what happens when you buy the second game and you didn't play the first game? Someone might, because they might not know, or a mom or whatever, dad or someone, girlfriend buys them the game and doesn't
Who's gonna do
understand.
that? I
That's what I'm
mean,
wondering. Is like, am I
yeah,
buying this game
hey,
and is
yeah,
my
I
file
bought you
transferring
Final.
over? Because this is
Imagine
a
you play Final
40-hour
Fantasy. Like,
RPG,
is your
where's
file
the
gonna
other
transfer
80,
over? It's a
right? To make up just for
your
it to
progress.
reach
Like,
what a normal RPG's hour would be. Obviously, that's in the other games. And if you're not releasing the other games, and if we have to wait a year for the game, that's the thing that I'm wondering. And that's why I said, like, honestly, I would have preferred if they just waited for the PS5 because yeah, no, and that's one thing I was wondering is like, what would happen to people who are buying Final
imagine you
Fantasy?
just buy Final
Um,
Fantasy 2 and you just start off with Aerith dying. You're
why
just like,
wouldn't they just
okay,
release if they're gonna take this long to release it? Why not release it for the PS5? Because if it's gonna take them a year to make the other parts, and everyone has their PS5 out, and they're not really playing the PS4 as much, this game's gonna come out for the PS4, and it's like, what are we gonna do? Waiting camp for I'm no, I'm definitely in the waiting camp. Like I
I'm
personally
probably in the waiting camp.
no, because yeah. Yeah,
Like,
no. I'm
I'll
like,
play
look,
the whole game.
I'm
I'll
gonna
beat
get
it.
it.
I'll
I
be like,
know I
oh
really
yeah.
want to play
And
it,
I'll say one thing.
but
The
I
remix score is pretty good.
my only concern and my biggest concern is that are the next part two and part three going to be on the PS5 or the PS4? Because if it's on the PS4 and it took them this long to make the first part, I hope that the other parts are close to the end of their development and they can start releasing that a little bit into like at least the first year of the PS4. Like if by November we don't have part 2 or by December we don't have part 2, there's going to be a problem. Cuz by this time next year this game better be done or we're going to have people with PS5s who've already put away their PS4s who don't want to bring it back out for this
Yeah,
one game. No, yeah, I've done it too, right? Like like Catherine, but at the same time, not everyone's gonna do that. Some people are gonna get their
I
PS5
mean,
and
I've
just
done
like
that
not look
before.
at their PS4 ever again. um,
Man, I wonder how they treat their women.
no, it's more people who are like, you got to get this game, you got to play this game, you got to play this game right now. But then it's other people are like,
Yeah. I didn't know this was an issue, but I can see how this could be
it's
a
a
problem.
remake. I already
I
know what
mean, I know,
happens. Tifa dies, no, not Tifa, yeah.
dude. It's Final Fantasy 7. It's gonna be all right. No,
The
not
game's been
Tifa.
out for how long?
I don't
I
care
have
if
the
it's always like
game. Hmm?
spoilers. Like, bro, we all know what
No, I'm not
happened.
gonna say
I've
it,
known
but
since
I
I
have
was
the
a
game
kid.
on my PS Vita. I had the game on my PS Vita. I had the game on my PS3, and I
Don't
had the
say
game
it.
on my PSP.
It's gonna feel.
I've
We're
played
gonna
this
feel
game
old
so
if you
many
say it.
times. I can wait. I'm still gonna buy it, but Yeah, but the but the people who are like, you got to get this game, it's worth
I
it,
need to
you're worth
finish
it.
Final
Like,
Fantasy 12 for the Switch anyway,
I
so like
mean, you can't really convince because, like, look, we're
I didn't play that
Canadian.
game, so I don't
Each
know how
game's
that's
gonna
gonna
cost
be.
us $90. That means by the time,
You're
yeah, that means by the time you buy the third game, this is gonna cost us
dude,
two
like
hundred
when
and
we
like
when we buy
seventy
a game, it
bucks,
feels like a shot to it feels like a punch to the
if
gut.
not more, if they decide to raise the games by $10 when a new generation comes out.
Oh, don't even say that. It's gonna hurt.
The special edition doesn't come with all the games.
Dude, imagine trying to cop the special
I
edition
don't
of
think they
it, like
will.
with
I
all
think
the
they'll
games
release
included.
this the normal bundle. And then they'll have the
No,
special
no, when they do
editions
make a
in
special
parts for the
edition of it all
fanatics. So
together
like
bundle.
right now they have the first part and it comes with like Cloud and a motorcycle. They're probably gonna have another like special edition and then another special edition. And I think it's just like a money grab. I don't know. Yeah.
I see your point. So, it's a money grab,
Yeah,
bro.
but
What
that's
else am I
different.
supposed to
That's
say?
like a handmade like
Then again, the
jacket and
Dante jacket that was worth like how much for
okay.
for like
Look,
the
the
DMC
thing
special
with those
edition?
jackets is that that was for like the big fans. Those are for like
Is it
people who
Gucci though?
can have their own house, have their fucking car paid off, mortgage paid off, have a solid job, and probably put that in like a glass case at home or something.
They put the jacket on. Let's get
Yeah.
this party started.
Now for video games, I think it's quite
I think
hyped
that's
right
about
now.
it for now. I mean, what else can we really say about it? It's a slow season for video games, I guess.
Really? No, I don't know. For me,
I mean, it's kind of hype, but problem is like
between
I don't hear
Animal
people talking about it
Crossing,
because everyone's just like,
yeah,
oh yeah, quarantine.
no, but I would say like between Animal Crossing, Doom
My friends, I
Eternal,
don't know. They're like
Game Rising, like people
I don't
playing
want to say
games like
they're
the
not
game playing
gamers, but
rising up by
they
eighty
don't
percent.
buy new games.
Valorant is like the most streamed game right now on Steam.
They're okay.
No,
I'll
that's what I was saying. Valorant, that's
re-clarify it.
multiplayer. It's basically
They're
a
not
CS:GO
single
thing.
player guys.
And then Doom Eternal, I'm pretty sure has an
Like
online
all my
one, but
friend
yeah,
circle
I know what you
here,
mean.
they're all multiplayer guys, so they don't. I could care less about Valorant. I does it? Yeah, it's one of those things. But yeah,
Yep,
so that was today's fruitful,
yep.
interesting,
Dante
and
from Toronto.
peculiar episode of the Degenerates. I have
No,
my
Toronto will never go
esteemed
away.
co-host, the only and the one and
We're a
only.
little bit too
Even when
close to the
Toronto's long
U.S.
and gone, he
Maybe you have
will
to go
remain.
more like you got to go to like Barrie or something.
Nuke drops. I am Toronto. It,
Trouble
go hide
Coast.
out on Sudbury or Thunder Bay. Yeah, I'm safe. But and of course, it's me, your host. You're troubled, addled with fucking schoolwork, and I can't even play any damn video games.
Good night.
Inept with
Goodbye.
technology host.
Oh shit.
But I'm here and I'm ready, and we're gonna see if we can get this episode out to you, good folks, soon. Have a good one. Farewell. Good night. Goodbye.